It was just a recession. When it hit in 2008, UK construction fell to pieces. It was more or less overnight. I think they just slowed down. The housing prices had dropped. There was 110% mortgages. That was the whole negative equity on our mortgages, that whole scenario. So where people would go and buy their first house and get 110% mortgage on it, they're gambling on that property value increasing over the mortgage term. And when America caught the cold, it came across to the UK. And when they were buying houses, I don't know, say for 250,000, they could probably borrow 270,000, go and get themselves a new car at the same time, and everything was rosy. But when people weren't paying it or defaulting, or the property value tipped or went backwards, all of a sudden there's massive holes in the finance world. You know, what your projected profits off that site were going to be, they're no longer there. And I quite enjoyed that. So I was with them for a number of years. And I got to a position there where I thought, you know what, sort of senior contracts manager for this company. I enjoyed my time, but you've always got that. I always had that bug in my head where I've got to go and do it on my own.
Yeah.
You see other people doing it. You think, why can't I do this? So I took a plunge and set up on my own, really. They know quite well that there's arbitration clauses and it's going to cost me so much money to go for it. So I ended up folding, losing everything. Lost my house, lost a lot. Everything goes. So part of the insolvency there, looking at it going, Mark, legitimately owed this money. Yeah. You are. My solicitor was sitting there going, you owed it. We've got payment certs for it. We can do our own valuation that works. I was like, yeah, do it. Because we were quite honest with our valuation. We were never over-egging it, because all you do is end up pushing a problem down the line, So I always tell people now, no matter what, don't over-egg your valuations. Keep it tight. Reasonable, but don't over-egg it, because we just push that problem further down the line.
So, hello everyone. Today we have got Mark from Callisto Homes. He's a builder.
That's it.
Have we had a builder?
Builders?
Who likes builders?
Builders in one saying, can you get round tomorrow? The plaster's coming in today.
But no, you've been through some stuff in the construction industry.
Yeah, say that.
Did you, because I don't actually know, have you always been in building when you left school?
Yeah, always been involved in construction. Left school, got an apprenticeship actually, doing electrician work.
Oh, was you?
Yeah, got me part one.
You done that, didn't you?
Did you get a broom?
Got a broom, and I learnt how to leave me rubbish on the floor.
Everyone knows, don't they?
No, so I did that initially.
So you done electrics when you?
Yeah, it's my first job really. But I think when you're 16, 17, you don't know what you want to do.
You take whatever's there.
You do, and I've done the same thing as probably loads of kids have done. Is you start this, you're going from school, you're not really academic, you're not really interested in it. You're not university material, so fall into a trade. And I was still at the age group where you'd be in a classroom, and if you misbehaved, it'll be, if you don't behave, you're going to end up on a building site. And that was the deterrent for behaving at school. I mean, it's still carried through now. That's why we've got such a trade shortage. But as usual, I'm 17, I go into this and I think, I just know I've been at school. I'm not really interested in this. And you drift, because you've got your mate who's the same age as you, earning, I put it at the time, 70 quid a day being a labourer.
Yeah. And
when you're on apprentice wages, he's a millionaire. What am I doing this for? Still live at home. All I've got to do is pay for my car. So then I sort of drifted a bit. I went into building, really, into odd carrying, with a local building company, building extensions. And I was getting paid cash in hand.
Yeah.
Lived at home at the time. But I learned an awful lot. It piqued my interest, really, because, one day we'll be digging footings, boring them.
Yeah.
And they were a good couple of lads. I wasn't just labouring for them. Once I loaded out and had a bit of time, they'd then teach me a bit.
Yeah, so I think when you do general building, you sort of learn a bit of everything, don't you?
Do. Yeah, you do. And honestly, I learned quite a bit from them. A bit of carpentry, a bit of bricklaying, a bit of plastering. Never really good at plastering.
No.
And I can't lay bricks to save my life now. It's been too long. But that piqued my interest initially. So I kept on with them guys. And then, for a number of years, at the time, I was 22? And I thought, you know what? Do I want to be doing this all my life? And I think when you get to that early 20s to mid 20s, you start thinking.
You start thinking of different opportunities.
You do, yeah. And that appetite for education might come back a little bit more. We might see the benefits in it. So I started applying for jobs as a trainee site manager, and got one with Taylor Woodrow. Taylor Homes at the time. They merged with Bryant's and become Taylor Wimpey, or whatever they did in the end.
Yeah.
I stayed with them, and they put me through university, just a 1 day release, which I could handle. Because you're getting older as well, and that knowledge you picked up by doing it on the ground as such, you can carry through. So I did, and then I just stayed with them. up until 2008 when we had the recession hit, and I was on a job in Maidstone then, and it was soul destroying. We couldn't build quick enough up until that point. We were moving people in half-finished units and doing all the stuff every major developer was at the time, just to get cash flow in. And the industry was booming. Then overnight, as if someone turned the lights off, and I had my site in Maidstone. We were building 200 units down there, and we shut the gates. Half lift brickworks, set of joists on. Normally we on next lift brickwork. We just stopped it overnight, and it was me, the telehandler driver, and a labourer sat on site for the whole summer.
And that was due to what? Because did they buy the plot of land and build the houses?
It was just a recession. When it hit in 2008, the UK construction fell to pieces, and it was more or less overnight.
Who was the work for though, building them houses?
That was for Taylor Woodrow.
So they owned the land.
They these sites around Kent when they've got.
Yeah. So they must have lost the funding maybe to.
I think they just slowed down. The housing prices have dropped. There was 110% mortgages. That was the whole negative equity on our mortgages. That whole scenario. So where people would go and buy their first house and get 110% mortgage on it, they're gambling on that property value increasing over the mortgage term. And when America caught the cold, it came across to the UK. And when they were buying houses, say for 250,000, they could probably borrow 270,000, go and get themselves a new car at the same time, and everything was rosy. But when people weren't paying or defaulting, or the property value tipped or went backwards, all of a sudden there's massive holes in the finance world. What your projected profits off that site were going to be, they're no longer there.
I keep expecting that to happen again. Like I've thought it's going to happen again. Like in the last couple of years, and work's definitely slowed down. I think, but it's not like overnight, like you say, like that. But I expect it to. I expect to like drive around seeing half-empty building sites or half-built houses and that. And I don't know if that's going to happen, but I thought it was going to happen quicker because of like COVID and all that malarkey, but it seems
it's
to
like
be
it's
like
building up towards it.
Yeah. We're not in a situation. We had that subprime mortgage issue we had in 2007, 2008, which was the major driver for it. But now we've got interest rates that are up higher. Now, when I bought my first house, we were paying about 6% interest on it, and up until that point in time, it was quite normal. And again, since the recession, interest rates have dropped to try and move the market on. So we've had a little blip for probably 10 years where we've had really low interest rates.
Yeah. You don't realise how low it was, do you?
No, you don't, no. Yeah. And everyone says it was the norm, but it wasn't. That period of time, that was the blip. Prior to that, 5-6% was quite a norm. Prior to that, in the 80s, you were looking at 10%, weren't you? More. It was before my time. But so we had the blip for probably 10 to 15 years where it's low interest rates here. Construction booming. We've hit a problem now where we had low interest rates for so long. When it jumps up from 99% or 0.99% to 5%,
everyone's like, "What the
cost
hell?"
of borrowing through the roof.
Yeah, but we say it's like the interest rates, but is it not nothing to do with the actual cost of houses as well? Because back in the 80s, you could buy an house for like X amount of money, and that's obviously not going to be relative to the actual inflation rate,
It's not
is it?
at all. No. Now, of course, we've got to remember us being in the UK, we're out of Europe. So Brexit had a massive impact on cost of materials and cost of construction. We've had COVID, another cost increase. Of course, Russia and Ukraine, that's had a massive effect on certain products, timber being one of them, because it comes from that side of the world. Shipping, all this stuff. The Middle East, we've got all the shipping lanes out there that are getting clogged up now because they're going to war again. All this has a direct impact on import.
Yeah.
And of course, the import costs go up, construction costs go up. I mean, look at our insurances on your cars this year. Cars, vans, they've gone through the roof. Business insurance has gone through the roof. Fuel's gone through the roof. And we always get, the usual client, them builders are having it off. Well, we're not, because all these other costs have increased. You're probably averaging about 80%, 70 to 80%. We were 3 years ago. Some materials have gone up 90%, others have gone up 30%.
Yeah.
But you take an average, I dare say it's probably 70%.
High, isn't it? Yeah.
Massive. That has a direct impact on the construction cost of a house. But they've got a maximum value in the market, so that equity developers are building in is shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. It's not so much the lads' wages are going up that much. The wages in construction have pretty much stayed steady.
It has stayed, It's not gone up a lot considering like 10 years ago it's stayed the same.
It has. There's been a little increase, during COVID and whatnot, and that increase has maintained themselves. But it's the material cost to get the job done. And I think we see a lot of clients now think, you're too expensive. It's not we're too expensive, if you can't afford it.
Yeah.
That's the big difference in it.
Yeah.
No, it's not the case of, if your builder's now driving around in a brand new van and the missus in the Range Rover at home and all this. It's just what we picked up. It's the material cost. I can't see it going down. Once suppliers have picked their
they
prices,
ain't going to put it down, are
they're not
they?
going to put it down. They've got, they've got insurances, they've got fuel costs. There's a whole supply chain back end of the side that we don't see, from our suppliers.
Yeah.
And it just pushes through. So no, I don't think we'll have a massive crash. I do think we need to review the lendability on houses. The mortgages need a certain review. I mean, certain banks now doing a 99% mortgage, but you've got to have a guarantor in place for that.
Yeah.
And it's got to be your first home, and there's a load of caveats to it. I think we need to push into probably 100% mortgages, a little bit more, just to try and regenerate the market.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine if you're living at home still, so you're renting still. I mean, your rent's going to be probably more than your mortgage, but how can you possibly save and pay rent at the same time?
Yeah, it's impossible,
You can't.
isn't it?
Yeah, and it's a vicious circle that goes round. So until the mortgage market starts to move, I think we'll stagnate slightly in the construction industry.
Yeah.
I think it's crazy. I was hanging on to a comment you made about, to be a site manager, you have to go uni.
Yeah.
I wonder why there's a difference between doing a trade, you go college, but to be a site manager, you've got to go uni. I wonder why they haven't.
I don't know. I don't know is the answer. I mean, I asked to go personally. Came out and I went through a couple of interview processes to get that first position. And then you're up against guys who've done their A levels. I'm a bit older than them.
Yeah.
But the having a construction knowledge behind you, doing it yourself, adds a bit of weight to it. It does. But I don't think uni's certainly not always the way to go. I don't. I had a talk the other day with some kids who, again, they were 19 to 25, the age group I spoke to. And they were the same as probably us. It was, we were always told that we'd end up on a building site, but they're not interested in it so much. And what I found is because they go on TikTok, they go on everything else, and they think they're going to be an overnight sensation.
Yeah, exactly. You took the words out of my mouth.
Do you know what I mean? It's that generation where, I don't mean it derogatory in any way, but they're just built differently. Everything's on tap for them.
Yeah.
They've got Ubers. They haven't got to wait for a cab anymore. Get an Uber, get picked up someone's front door. 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm not getting rained on in the cab office. It's that sort of thing.
Remember them days sitting in the cab office at all nights in dark.
Exactly. It. Better get filled in or a taxi, one or two.
There's always be some bird behind it.
You literally can order it in the Weatherspoon, just walk out when it's there.
Exactly that.
She'd be eating a burger.
Yeah.
Speaking to her husband, make sure the kids are in bed. And then on the radio, 22, we need you to go to Dartford Station. Yeah.
That's it. And then there's a punch up because everyone wants that one cab that's available. That's all gone pretty much. So they live in that world where even a takeaway, they're not going to go and get it sent in. The world's at their feet. It's all digital.
No. It's like, I couldn't believe that when like McDonald's, right, is a fast food chain. Yeah, it's for lazy people anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, they made it even more fucking lazier by getting Uber Eats going there.
Yeah.
Do you know? And I'm thinking,
and a drive-through, you only got to get out your car.
Yeah,
exactly that. Yeah.
How much lazier can this world get?
Yeah, that's it. Honestly, the only reason I've had kids is they can open the front door for the Uber man. That's it. But
It's mental, isn't it?
It's
crazy.
Yeah. And we've had it. Honestly, I've had apprentices come through to me. I had one not so long ago. Just nice kid. Met him through another one of our apprentices. What do you want to do with yourself? I don't know. You want a job? This is at Christmas time. Yeah. What do you want to fancy doing? I don't know yet. Well, come. I'll give you an apprenticeship. I think the course is started in September. So this was the January. I said, come in. We'll bounce you around a few of the trades. See which one you like. All right. So he turns up day one in his Nike tracksuit. 150 quid worth of Nike tracksuit. We're in January now. Right.
That was his Christmas present.
That was his Christmas present, yeah. From his dead nan. So, but he's working with ground workers. We're putting a car park in. Yeah. So it's muddy, it's wet, it's cold. Turns up, pair of trainers, this. You all right? Yeah. Got any weather gear? No. And, all right, don't worry. So I shot off to him. Went down, bought him some waterproof trousers, pair of boots, and a coat. Quite like the kid. So here you go, all set. All right, thanks. But there was just nothing about him. Nothing. They'd go and sit in the site toilet. I think that's my gut trouble because he was in there like 8 hours a day. So I leave him, and then the guys then phone back. He's not come out of the toilet all day, and they open it up, and he's sitting there, on TikTok or whatever he's watching. And that's it. Just nothing about him. All right, groundwork's not for you.
Yeah.
Try carpentry. So next day, a week later, whatever, turns up with the carpenters. Where's your gear? Oh, I left my boots indoors. Coat? Oh, no, I left it all. So he's getting picked up in the morning, driven to site by one of her other guys. So he's got everything laid on for him. Just not interested. Then, after week 3, so he's paid weekly, no dramas. Week 3, oh, can I have a sub for next week? What do you need it for? Oh, I've got to buy some weed. And you look, bearing in mind, I'm his boss. So, so it's quite like, as if it's a normal thing. I've got to go buy some weed, or I've got a weed there, or whatever. Living at home, you've got no bills to pay.
You just can't win sometimes.
No, and it happens a few times. We get through. But don't we get some really good kids, really, really keen, brilliant. And then what else we've had that's quite funny? Oh, we had another one start. Get this, another one. Like, pick him up 8 o'clock in the morning. Brilliant. The guys are there. He jumps in one of the vans. Off he goes. Report back to me. The guys go, no, he's all right. He's out on time. Brilliant. On the Thursday, I can't come in today. Why? Oh, well, it's her indoors. She can't be left with a baby for too long. What? Yeah, she's going mad at me now because I've been out working for 3 days. So I've got to have Thursday, Friday off.
She's got to do a TikTok today. For crying out loud.
Yeah, that is what we're batting against.
Yeah.
That, you just think, I don't get it myself. Maybe I'm a grumpy old man.
No, you're not. We've had these chats on here before about apprentices and stuff, and we take a bit of a hit for it sometimes on our attitude towards it, but that's genuinely from the younger generation or the people who can't be bothered.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Because they do just sit indoors playing their computer games, so they
yeah,
ain't got that drive.
But that is the thing.
I don't think it's everyone, but it's a lot high percentage that just.
And I think they want that instant gratification, that instant. They see whatever trade on, I don't know, 250 French quid a day, whatever. They want that now. I want that money now.
Yeah.
They've got no skill set to back it up.
But it's that thing with like. They're sat in I don't understand. Don't get me wrong. When I was a kid, I used to play in Super Nintendo and all that malarkey, right? But I don't get now how people can just sit in front of it all day, right? Just getting dopamine hits by like killing someone on like what was it? What the game's called? Metal Gear. I don't know what they're called.
Fortnite
and all that shit.
Call of Duty.
Yeah.
And they're getting their dopamine hits, but then when they come out, right? They've got no fucking like. People skills,
no,
none, because they've been in like that.
Yep,
and
the
that's
only people skills they got is speaking on the headphones, and
that's
it.
And it's all faceless, so they can gob off on a headset of headphones to people.
Yeah,
but when it comes to real world application, you can't talk to people like that.
No. But you've got but then they just can't. They don't get it, do they? It's just a different, complete. And when they come away from that, they get anxiety because they're not getting the dopamine hits.
Yeah.
And that's why they are the way they are, I guess. Maybe I don't know.
No, I think it's probably true. And they've all got this imaginary YouTube, TikTok, whatever you want to call it, world, Instagram world, where everything's perfect. Everything they see on Instagram is perfect. If you're having a bad day, no one puts a bad day on Instagram, do they?
I do.
Like with cars.
You want to follow me? You see some shit I put on there. I tell you, I try and keep it. I try and help people out by having my shit days on there. I do. That's because. It ain't perfect all the time.
No, it's not. But these kids follow these people who are, supposed to be multimillionaires and this, that, and the other, all on Instagram. That lifestyle, that it's hard to achieve.
Yeah.
And they're up against
a very
that,
low percentage.
Absolutely, mate. And so you've got this up here where they think that's the norm. They think driving around Lamborghini, having a mansion is the norm because that's what they see on his videos. So when they're not doing that or not achieving that, they feel like either a failure or they get depressed because of it. Or I'm never going to achieve that. And I understand it to a degree. You think, but then you've got to think, it's all fucking bollocks.
Yeah.
It is just all nonsense. It's a make-believe world, but they think it's real. And everyone falls for that trap. I see it on Instagram. With our Instagram and things, I make up posts, we do posts and da-da-da-da. But when you, like you say, a dopamine hit, I've stopped myself from posting. I sort of do it via Facebook now, so you just do this thing in it.
Yeah.
Programs it for you. I'm no computer whiz, but
programs it.
It does.
It's a kid of the 80s, isn't it? It programs it.
It does, yeah. Spectrum. But it's that because otherwise, if I'm on Instagram, you get lost in that. Was it scrolling? That you're constantly.
I've already spoken about that. I'm guilty of it myself. Do it.
Yeah.
Can't help it. Like sometimes, and that's because you just get sidetracked, and Instagram's got that way of like just keeping you hooked.
Does, yeah.
And if you're not careful with it, you can just end up being in it for hours.
Yeah.
I've looked at my screen time before in the past, and I thought, oh shit,
Yeah.
that's not good.
No.
That ain't good at all. But a lot of communications is done across Instagram now.
Oh, it is,
so
yeah.
do you know, like you might like, I never talk to my girlfriend on the phone. It's all on fucking Instagram via the messenger.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Oh, do you? What? Yeah, because I was like that with Lyd at the start. It was all Instagram. I think she was thinking, when are you going to give me, like, when are we going to exchange numbers?
She's got my number. She's got my number.
So you do all your message on
She just
Instagram.
goes, I just go on Instagram. You know what I mean? I'm just doing it on Instagram. But I think it's
See?
yeah.
That's all new. I'm a little bit older than you.
And-
I don't use a landline, but
Yeah,
honestly.
Snapchat as well. That's
Really?
a lot
I
of
don't
people
go on
speak on.
that.
I used to go on it, but a lot of people just speak on Snapchat.
Yeah,
Did I really?
know,
Yeah.
It's weird. It's new to me because
Yeah,
I'm like,
WhatsApp's the main thing I use, really.
I'll use WhatsApp. It bugs the hell out of me when someone types a WhatsApp message, send, but it's, you get 3 or 4 messages. What are you doing? Send. I'm doing this. Send. Pick the phone up.
yeah.
I can't be bothered to read, especially if I'm driving or doing something and then you're trying to let set of lights or whatever.
But we've been programmed into going into all these group chats and
Yeah.
communication via the World Wide Web and all that, and it's just a different world. Like I done a post. Remember when the other week when the Instagram went down for a few hours?
Yeah.
It went down for a few hours, and everyone's panicking. I think I've been hacked. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you got these like.
I think they need to do a scare on Instagram, like close it down for a week, then see what everyone does
for a
there.
week. Yeah,
Absolutely.
close it down for
And
a
then,
week.
then that'll
All
be a
social
bit of
media.
reality check.
Close all
yeah.
social media down for a week.
You
Yeah.
watch your mental health increase
Let's
after,
have a
after day
reset.
3 or 4.
Let's have a
Yeah.
reset on it. But
Yeah.
just put this episode out first.
Yeah, well, yeah, get this
so,
out.
so we can maybe, do you know what I mean? I think we should have a vote on that. Let's close social media down for a week. Just have a break. Let's have a reset from it and just.
The whole world will freeze, wouldn't
Yeah,
it?
what would happen?
you know
The
what I
whole
mean?
internet, take the whole internet.
Yeah.
out.
Oh, there's these kids going, no! And I
Yeah.
can't deal with
Got to
it.
talk to someone now.
Yeah. But,
So how long was you with, were they Taylor Wimpey? Weren't they?
Yeah.
How
I
long
was with
you
them. When did you join them? 2004, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 3, 4 years. 4 years, and then it boiled down to with that. Got called up to the big office. They merged with we were Taywood Homes. They merged with Wimpey. Come Taylor Wimpey. So Wimpey Homes at the time, Taywood Homes. They merged. So we had that round of redundancies anyway, because all of a sudden they'd doubled up on everyone.
Yeah.
Not so much at site level, because still a number of sites were still running, whether they're Wimpey's or Taywood Homes. They were still allocated. It was the back office end. So we had all that round of redundancy, which we got through, and that bit of upheaval then, and it's fine. Then the recession hit, and it was literally just going through the numbers. And I pretty much got called into the main office and said, like, look, Mark, you've been with us the shortest time. It's time to get rid of you. You've got no pension, so much. So it's a numbers game, and I was still young, so I wasn't there. Didn't have 10 years service behind me, and that was it. And then pretty much overnight, jobless. There was no work in construction at all. So then I went back to default really, and started doing a barn conversion on my own down in Tunbridge with a mate of mine, which was a bit of a saving grace really, because it kept us going for another sort of 6-7 months. But in that period, you know, it was dire. I remember I actually went to sign on, like a number of us did. I remember going to the job centre in Dartford, and I was sitting there, you know, site manager, this, that, and the other. And there's a guy who was 50 odd in there, QS from another tier 1 company, never been out of work since we joined, 60s, 70s. He was just dying, and the people in the job centre were going like, look guys, you know, we've got nothing, you know, really, the whole world's come to a grinding halt, and it was pretty much like that.
and is this when you decided that you'd all do a stripper thing,
yeah.
and a full Monty thing?
That's
and you...
exactly what we did, yeah. So we started that. Didn't work out too well.
was you
Turns
the
out-
Robert Carlyle character?
Yes, it turns out I'm hung like an action man, but you know. So and then really through luck, through a friend of mine, there was a smaller contractor based in the southeast. When I say smaller contractor, coming from, you know, one of these tier 1s where you've got everything laid on, he was probably similar size to what we are now, doing a few million quid a year. I think just different jobs, you know, schools, golf clubs, new builds. And all of a sudden, you know, they were growing. We had a scheme in Hackney which was their first real big job. It was 16 units going in an old pub, and they didn't have the skill set for it. Really, they were used to doing extension and small stuff. And they're great guys, and sort of saw me and said, "Oh yeah, what, do you want a job?" Actually, my first job from that tell a lie. My first job was we refurbished all the traveller sites in Southwark.
Did you?
Yeah, so I interviewed with them on the Thursday at their offices. They picked me up Thursday night and drove me up to the traveller site on the Old Kent Road, just behind the Mercedes garage there. Great job, really. Met the guys on site. Brilliant. So I started on a Monday. What we're doing is had lots of little toilet blocks. We're knocking them down and putting bigger ones in, little kitchenettes for toileting, and then tarmacking at the front for the caravans to sell.
Surprised I didn't do the tarmacking.
Yeah,
you did.
I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming, and I didn't want to say it. You know what I mean? You might have to ask for some advice on that one. You know what I mean? Whether or not we can put that out or not.
No, it's fine. Yeah.
Oh, it's fine, isn't it? Yeah. Who was the company then? Who was that company?
That was a company called PHB Construction. Yeah, owned by a guy called Mark and Steve. Guys took us on, and I quite enjoyed it because it wasn't so much. You weren't sitting on the same site every day doing monotonous. Once you built one house type, you've built 5 of them. You know, it's just that rolling it out, and it did bore you to tears to a point. But these are all different. You're doing something different, not every month, but there's always different projects. So you've got to put your thinking hat on. And I probably learnt more there than I did anywhere else. We were subcontracting at a company called David Hewitt. He's now sort of retired, Dave. And learned an awful lot. Worked directly with Southwark Council. So all of a sudden now, I'm learning a little bit about contracts and pricing and everything else. Before, and I was on the construction end. I think, this is quite interesting. This you get to see the back end or the admin side of construction, which when we're on the tools or managing a site, you don't tend to see that back end. You do a bit of paperwork, health and safety-esque stuff. You don't see the pricing and the financing or any technical really, because it's all given to you. And I quite enjoyed that. So I was with them for a number of years. Really, we built that. Went over to Hackney, took over that job. And after that, we did a couple of schools, extensions, larger ones, and of schools. And I got to a position there where I thought, a sort of senior contracts manager for this company. I enjoyed my time, but you've always got that. I've always had that bug in my head where I've got to go and do it on my own.
Yeah.
You see other people doing it, and you think, why can't I do this? So I took the plunge and set up on my own, really.
Yeah.
And to be fair to Mark and Steve, when I left them, I ended up subbing back to them again under my own business. So fair play. They helped us out. Yeah. But it's different kettle of fish when you start doing it for yourself. Yeah. As everyone knows,
It's not an easy game, is it?
No, and ours is probably one of the hardest to be in, I think. It's like we were saying earlier, it's so unregulated.
Did you go straight into new builds or?
Yeah, straight in. We've done a church refurbishment now, actually. That was our first job in Burgess Hill. So it's quite a large one. Lost money because you think you've priced it right. Yeah. I don't be wrong, there's people out there that will, if you make a mistake, they'll latch onto it and hold you to the contract. And that's your bag to wear, isn't it, really? Yeah. You don't know how you get through it half the time. You just don't. It's just one of them.
Yeah. It's always a tough one. I'll never know, even now, even though I've been doing it 25 years, I still price jobs wrong.
You do. Honestly, I do all the time. Or that you miss something out.
Yeah, there's always something you're going to miss. And the thing is, that's probably... You probably win the job on that,
You do on your mistakes. Yeah,
that's right. You win the job because of that.
Price.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You win it on your mistakes.
Yeah. So but then you're gaining more experience in getting more jobs.
You do. Yeah.
You're not getting money, but you're getting more jobs. But it's just one of them things. There's always an oversight on something or other.
Yeah, nothing's perfect, and everyone wipes into D&B contracts now. So all the designs on you anyway.
And I just I always say to as well, customers as well with builders, right? Builders, no disrespect to builders, all right, but they give a time scale, don't they? And it never goes to time. It never goes to the time scale.
No.
And I wonder why though. I've never heard of a job going on time.
I will say this: I had one go on time last year. I gave myself a medal for it. That's the only one.
But they don't, do they? Because I think we've all got an idea of how long we would like something to take.
Yeah.
But the reality of it, especially in this country, when you've got things like weather permitting,
absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? Like roof.
You don't really take that into account, do you?
Yeah, no. You don't. This is how long it
Start
should
building
take.
a house in Jan when it's raining.
But then let's just then let's just account for that. It's going to rain for 3 weeks on the trot.
Yep.
And like nothing, we got to get that into account. And
Getting the plumbing done, there's all water inside the building.
And then we've got
to
get the plumbing done. But his wife's pregnant, and he could be off for a few days. The electrician, I mean, he's still looking for his dustpan, and he's how long he's going to be. But it's all these things that you don't take into account. But realistically, how long a job should take. But I always say, when somebody asks how long, when they say, they said it's going to take 6 months, I say, think about it as 8.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Honestly, I do it now. So if we're building someone's house for them now, and their dream house, their 5-6 bedroom gated house, it's a year, no matter what.
Yeah.
And then we had another builder tell us it's going to be 9 months. It'll be a year.
Yeah.
You can't rent anywhere probably less than a year contract anyway. Yeah. So you're going to be in for 12 months
and
no matter
you're
what.
still going to be around that job for another couple of months,
You are.
just picking up.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the way we go now, renewable energy, there's so much back-end commissioning stuff that takes longer. You don't just switch the boiler on no more, bleed the rads or whatever. But now you've got the air source heat pump going.
Is that all it is?
Is that, yeah.
Is that all it is? It's a bit, see the builders there.
Yeah.
I watch a YouTube on it.
You do that in 10 minutes.
You're done, mate.
Done. So, you don't use copper no more, do you? Plastic pipes.
It's all listening to the air source stuff. Someone's been to university.
Radiator's been moved 10 times.
Yeah, the radiator's off and on 10. We ignore all
They
that.
want it there now.
No, we ignore all that. But that is the problem, That is, it is that. And I do it now. I'm still very guilty of it. Whereas, I'm not so much out on site. I've got some good managers doing that for us, and they take a lot of pressure off. If you're trying to push a business in a direction, I say to anyone, not necessarily you don't want partners with you, you can do it on your own, but put some good people below you, better than yourself. And I've always thought that's my ethos: is I employ people that are better than me. They just don't want to run a business.
Yeah.
And I've got some good people, so they'll be off doing the day to day, the monotonous stuff sometimes that you get distracted on, or you'll get too personally involved with because it's your business.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell, what do you mean? They're going to cost us another £1,000 or something. It's that stuff that you get bogged down to, but you miss that job because you're arguing over something that really it's neither here nor there. It's either we accounted for it, and it's probably greed that drive that cost down once you've won the job. But there's sense, they do their job. Trust them to do their job.
Yeah, it's important to have a good management team
100%. 100%.
Then you can work on the business.
Yeah, and I'll be sitting there and I'll do the cash flow for the client and the project program, and I look at it and think, bearing in mind, I've run jobs, and you think, yep, that looks good, and I always sort of then elongate it suddenly. I issue it out, and the manager then go, fucking hell, you sure?
Yeah.
And because I don't like being told I'm wrong, I go, yeah. But no, it's the case. But it's very good from a desk for trying to foresee it. Or they'll get onto site and go, we've got to adjust this program because we're slipping here already.
Yeah.
And it's through no one's fault. It's my fault. I underestimated that time. But it is construction, And what I have learned really is a lot of the project timescales is getting driven by finance. I've only learned this through me trying to get involved in a bit of finance myself because the rates you're paying on it. So if you've got a bridge on a construction site, you'll sign yourself up for 18 months on that loan, paying a load of money to build your house or a site. You go over that, you're incurring daily interest. I had a client, actually, we dug him out some trouble down the road. Built a block of flats, we didn't build them, but we met him through a mutual friend. He said, can you come and have a look at this job? Yeah. He said, I'm having a nightmare getting it signed off. Well, no doubt, it just wasn't built correctly. We had issues with the fire mitigation and nothing was, but the bath panels were in, baths are in, showers are in, bath panels on, sealed, boom, turn the water on, nothing's plumbed, nothing's connected. Taps are on the bath.
Oh no, I know this story. I know these stories. I've worked on them jobs where the builder, he's borrowing money from the banks. He's taking the bank people round, taking pictures of.
And it's not connected.
It's not connected.
I've done it.
Yeah.
Like not as working for a contractor. No.
That's who done it.
Working for a contractor, he had a second fix to bathrooms before any pipe work was in because the need to get. Do you know what I mean? They're all at it. They're at it.
And a guy then coming to do the masticing.
They did get finished, them flats, just to let you know. But I could see exactly where that was going,
And that's what happened, honestly. So he called us in, I'm having a nightmare. And it's always like, the builders walked off. Well, no, what he's done is he's taken the money and walked off.
Yeah.
Is what he's done. So I had 6 guys down there, non-stop, for about 5-6 weeks in the end. There's only 14 units. Just literally ripping the place apart again, trying to put it right. But he was incurring from that point £1,000 a day interest.
Yeah.
And that's 30, 31 days a month. So it's not just a working week.
No.
He's getting on Saturdays and Sunday.
Hello, you wonderful listeners and watchers. Just pumping the brakes on this exciting episode to let you know about Kieran's app that's changing the game in the gas certificate world.
If you're sick and tired of doing gas certificates on paper, then Gas Certificate app is your way forward. But it wouldn't be an app worth talking about if that's it. With no hassle, you can manage your diaries, invoices and quotes for all your jobs, so you'll never be chasing paperwork again.
Don't forget those boiler manuals. I can tell you how many times I've been looking at a boiler and thinking, what the? Thankfully, the in-app boiler manuals have saved me and got me out of quite the pinch.
If it's helped Pete here, then Gas Certificate app will definitely help you, especially with its easy-to-use gas reg calculator and the extremely handy ability to duplicate certs. Brilliant for when you're doing your annual services on previous jobs.
And for the icing on the cake, it has a complete offline mode. So if you're on a job in the middle of nowhere or servicing a boiler in the basement of a building with no signal, you've still got access to everything the app has to offer to keep you working hard.
So click the link down below or in the description. Use the code POD30 to get 30% off yearly subscriptions. That's for all new users. That's POD30 for 30% off our yearly subscriptions for new users. So what do you think it all comes down to, though? Builders just underestimating how long it's going to take and not having the money on the job. That's why they walk away.
I think some go in. I'll be honest, there are some that go in knowing exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
Low
like
price
that,
just to take money.
pulling out what they can,
Yeah, absolutely.
getting what they can, and then just going.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
What I also think is you get builders who we go up against them, and you think, how the fuck have they got that price?
Yeah.
You know, I'm not a QS whiz, but I'll drop the bollock sometimes. But they're like half price, or 2/3 of our cost. And I just don't know how I can do it. The material alone's coming to that, so I don't know how to get it fitted.
We get it. It goes down the scale. We get it. We get it in this industry. Even we're doing a boiler install.
Yep.
Somebody will say, "Oh, they've only quoted us 1,300 quid." What?
Yeah. How? Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? It's like it happens all the way down. Don't matter what height for the scale it is. It happens all the way.
Honestly, and I put it down to no matter how big your business is in construction, whether you've got 1,000 employees or it's just you on your own, most clients think you're trying to pull the work device. There's so many stories out
Got
there.
that name, innit?
Yeah, of a cowboy builder.
Yeah.
And there's equally enough cowboy clients. So how can someone who's been in construction sees these costs come in and go, oh yeah, we'll go for that one. It's the cheapest. We'll have no problems though.
But that's the thing. Like when I see these programs on TV where they say we've had a cowboy builder and the little bald bloke, what's his name?
Dominic, innit?
Dominic Littlewood goes round like a little angry egg cup, and he's and he's just shouting his mouth off, and all these customers, right, and they're trying to make us feel sorry for them. But in a lot of the cases, I don't feel sorry for them because I know they've done the cheapest quote and they've tried to scrimp and scrape on it.
Yep.
But that's their doing, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They've made that cock up,
Yes.
and then they expect somebody to put it right for another cheap quote, and it's like it ain't gonna happen, is it? Do you know what I mean?
No. Most of the jobs we win as a business are won via an architect. So an architect will go out to tender, and they'll go out to 5-6 companies, whatever, and we'll do the whole tender. They'll have a spreadsheet made, and we'll tender that. So it's all level pegged, so 'cause it's set for the formatting set. We always come in probably mid-range on it. So we're not the cheapest, we're not the most expensive. We're sitting bang right in the middle. And we win work because of that. Because someone else who's educated in the business looks at it and goes, these guys are all right. Then we go in for interviews and whatever. And then it's down to personality, which I don't know how we win it. But that is an educated guess. You've got someone employed, separate to the client and us, taking a referee's view on it as such. It's when we get clients who try and manage it all. And the worst thing to do is they go on Facebook and they try and get a build rate, or I've had to come off some of the extension Facebook page. It just angers me.
Yeah.
Facebook is the one.
There's no possible way. Well, I built my house and it only cost me £2.50.
Everyone's an expert.
Everyone's an expert. But don't tell you they built a house in 1976 and it was North Scotland on an island.
It was a Wendy house.
I don't say that. I don't say in the southeast we are expensive. The cost of living's more. So you can't compare London and the South East prices to anywhere else in the country, really.
No.
We are unique in that, but it is where we live, and it is the price that is the average. We get it questioned all the time. We don't, and what we find is people cherry pick certain items. I don't know if you guys, you'll break your quote down, won't you? You know, whatever, first fix, second fix, sanitary wear, whatever. But they'll pick an item, you know. Well, you're going to supply me my toilet for 120 quid, whatever. But I've gone to B&Q and I can get it for £89. Do you know what I mean? You'll get that question, but they won't tell you where you've underpriced yourself.
Yeah.
No.
Where, you've allowed £200 for first fix for a week. They won't tell you that. That's your problem to wear.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? So we have that battle sometimes. I think we all do. I think.
Yeah, because we say, like, there's not many other industries where they try and barter the price so much.
No, there's not. No, we're not. Used car salesman. That's about it.
I like that quote. What is it? So could you break the quote down for me? Yeah. What was it? It's my labour and materials is X amount, and then
And how many days is that what you're going at?
yeah, so on it, and
For
then
me not to do the job's nothing. Yeah.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Me not to do the job, nothing.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, Pete, I'll get asked for it. Can you give me a short list? Lucky enough, the software that I use when I'm pumping all the numbers, it just
Generates it.
generates
'cause
it.
it's stored.
So
That's
it's
what
no,
his does.
yeah, so it's no
Doesn't it?
hardship.
Does yours do that?
What's that?
When we've put in stuff already, like prices of.
You can add items, yeah.
But do they store it?
Yeah.
They do, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can pull off material, and it's even down like a box of screws. I mean, it's annoying because it goes like 0.5 of a box of screws and things like that.
Yeah.
That's so precise. But I've got no issue with giving that to you.
Mm.
But I'm not going to be in a world where you're going to suddenly supply the materials, and then when I get to site, who's going to move them back to B? Who actually owns this materials now? And we get it a lot with windows on private clients. Don't be wrong, I don't mind that because they're a pain in the arse to deal with. But I get them once you're on site. Who's insuring them? You know, who's moving A to B? Because you're paying £100 on windows, say. Why am I taking liability for them?
Yeah.
We've got no overage and profit markup on that. You know,
Yeah,
they're not ours
Yeah.
to manage, not our fitters to manage.
They blame you for damaging or
Exactly
something.
that.
Yeah.
They're on us. They want to work under my insurances, but we're not allowed to make a profit on them.
Yeah.
But they're quite happy to sit under my insurance. But should they get nicked from site, they want to claim on my insurance. Do you think, where does that, I mean, don't be wrong, I'd sometimes think, whatever, I don't care.
Yeah.
But it gets nitty gritty.
But yeah, they don't think about that.
No,
they
they
just
don't,
see
no.
two prices, and I've always said that as well. Whether or not it be, they won't actually see the money that they pay is going into anything else but your pocket.
Exactly that, yeah. That's it. You can have £1 million job and they think he's on £1 million.
Yeah. They do that.
They do.
Because it's come, £1 million has come out of their pocket,
Yep.
and they're just seeing it going into yours. And
Yeah.
that's all they see, and
Yeah.
they don't want to see anything else.
Don't see the lads' wages, don't see the insurances, don't see the
That's
vans,
it,
don't see
yeah.
the tills, nothing. You're on £1 million off for me.
Yeah.
Well, no, I haven't, have I? In fact, I've underpriced it. I'm 100 grand in at the moment, so wait for the variation list. But no, we have it all the time. What I can see, and what I have seen a lot with this sort of thing, is we'll get to the end of the job. You know, the wallpaper's getting hung, tiling's going in, it's looking good, it's getting polished. No, maybe hanging us out for 100 grand, 50 grand, 20 grand, whatever. But now they want the nice stuff, don't they? Because that sofa they were going to use from the old house, the feng shui's off now. And I was going to make do with my old TV, but I want a new 72-inch one. And I want the sound system to go with it, and I want this, I want that. But you've had enough money off of me, haven't you? So my niceties, we're not the builder.
Yeah.
And you can get like a house on fire from day one. Every valuation's paid to the moment. Sometimes they get the keys and it's hand over. They've got the sign off, and we're there doing a little bit of making good, a little bit of snagging, whatever. There's always something that goes wrong in a new build. It's not, we're not in an industry like cars where they come out of a showroom ready to go. There's always going to be teething problems in the house. There is. But we see, and they could be, the final account could be following up the next 3 weeks after. So they're hanging you out for a lump of money and retentions and things like that. And you know that there's going to be a battle now, because although they were happy up to the point of moving in, it's, you know what? Remember 4 months ago when we visited site? Yeah, we wasn't quite happy with this. And you can just tell that everyone, well, touch wood, 90% of people that like it. They want the nice stuff. And they do think, we've given you enough money. Well, you haven't. You've paid for what you've got.
Yeah.
You know, you don't go to your Asda shop, do you? Ladies run it up at the till and you go, it's 120 quid. I'll give you 80 because, you've had enough money out of me.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. But our industry seems to be the norm.
Yeah.
You know? So what can we do to change it? Nothing.
Nothing. It won't change, will it?
No, it won't. No, it's just the world in which we live. So
Yeah. So when so you started on your own. When did you start doing?
Can we start that again?
Go on.
I need to go to the bathroom.
Go on.
Really sorry.
don't worry.
It's the coffee. It's stimulating me. It's stimulating me.
Right, so Pete's back from the toilet.
Whew.
That was quick. Did it fall out?
Mate, I listen, I'm plumber, I've got very good flow rates. No prostate problems here, mate. No fingers anywhere. We're all good. Yeah? It's not, you know what I mean? It's good. It's good flow.
Good flow.
For a 44-year-old. You know what I mean?
We've passed the 40 barrier and all.
Yeah. How old are you?
41.
Oh, yeah. Oh, are you?
So I'm getting into the realms of prostate problems. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you say you look young. He looks a lot younger than you.
No, you don't.
It's the lighting, honestly.
It's the lighting, yeah. And the makeup.
Yeah. He went for a spray tan before and everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just waiting for the hair transplant to take root and I'll be away.
Yeah, that's where we all got to go. Turkey this year, innit? You know what I mean? Get yourself. How old are you again?
33.
Fucking hell.
It's not fair, is it?
It's not fair. You look at him, you think,
Look at him.
bastard.
So you started on your own. When did you start doing the work for Carillion? When that sort of went?
Oh, crikey, yeah. So that was an experience to live through. So that was the first business. So, yeah, started my own. Started doing, as everyone probably does when they start up, like businesses, kitchen and bathroom stuff. Nonsense, ripping out kitchen and bathrooms.
Yeah, I've done it.
And everyone gets roped into that. We've got 10 years of work and blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah.
Yeah, you take everything.
You take everything, earn nothing, get blamed for everything. But, you know, lucky enough, we had a break clause in that first contract. And that wasn't with Carillion, but that got us in to meet some people.
Yeah.
And they then introduced us to similar stuff, but for the MOD, for Carillion. And we were probably number 3 or 4 down the line in terms of subcontracting. For Carillion, such and such, such and such, such and such. And after a few jobs, we were at Woolwich at the time, doing the barracks there. What are we doing is we're earning nothing, taking all the risk, carrying all the risk for none of the reward. So I decided we'll get our paperwork in order and we'll get tendering. So I got all my relevant paperwork in order, PPQs, etc. from Carillion, filled it out, got a surveyor freelance for me, an older chap. So I was early 30s then. I was, yeah. And I thought I needed an older surveyor, put a bit of gravitas around us, an older chap, more experienced. He'll see what I don't see. So he came in and helped me. And we went from sort of tier 4 to straight in with Carillion. We're working straight for them. So we go for tender meetings and all the people where we were like, the beat 'em up boys, they're looking at me like, no, we're tendering against you now. And we did. And we won. And we won about 5 million quid worth of work over the next 4 years, all set. Contracts were signed and we were getting into it. And at that point in time, we're doing that. And we're growing quite quickly, a bit too quickly, I think. We're building a block of flats over in Rainham, and another couple of £1 million over there. And we're thinking, like, oh, this is easy. Like, why not do this sooner? And I got called up to MOD High Wycombe at the time, and it's behind the wire, so we get called into their offices. And we got the usual. I thought I'm up here for telling off because, well, someone's not probably had a highlight or not. Usual, just a whipping, but nothing too serious. Walked in there into the boardroom, and I went on my own, didn't take anyone else with me because I just thought it was either I'll either get a little ticking off, slap wrist, but here's another contract. Away you go. That's what's happened previously. I go in, there's a group of people I never really see before, and I start getting hammered on our valuations, prelims. You're managing to sign in, so I'm not paying your prelims. You're sending emails from site with photographs. We didn't sign in. We're not paying your prelims. And our prelims are quite substantial at that time. So not only was getting the management costs, we're getting everything built into the prelim cost, scaffolding, skips, health and safety visits. Just started striking us out on that. And, you're a bit beyond programme there. But we were delayed because it wasn't vacated. And, it starts to get a bit nasty.
So so it's almost like these companies, they know they're getting in trouble and then they try and...
Yeah, they knew they had a hole in the books.
Yeah, they try and
so they're trying
recover.
to pull it back.
They try and recover and...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm getting absolutely hammered on my own. 8 people in front of us. And it's a big table, They're all sitting that side and there's me, sort of this side, trying to find my corner. Me and their surveyor who worked in that jobs were sitting next to me. I'm thinking, there's something amiss here. I'm either missing something. So I start getting a bit irate. The papers start getting flicked up in the air a bit more. And then all this time, the guy next to me is like, tapping on my leg. What are you fucking tapping me for? And he goes, "Should we stop for a cup of tea quickly? Like everyone's getting a bit irate in here." Fine. So I go out, door goes behind me. He follows me out. And he's a nice, really nice chap. And he was a bit like, we're going to make an offer to you, Mark, but take it because we're done. Talking about, at this point, it's about £500,000. Just whatever we go back in there, whatever, honestly, take it, mate. I'm telling you, take it. So I'm thinking now I'll get offered £200,000 or something, whatever. Walk back in there, sit down. You get the, you're all slimy. Oh, you calm down now. Yeah, fine. Yeah. Oh, well, we got an offer for you. Let's do the paperwork across. You got to sign. It's £20,000. £20,000. And I've got to sign it because I'm getting told now I'm getting nothing or £20,000. What are you going to do? So I've got to sign it. There's no legal recourse now. I can't go back after him if I change my mind. What are you going to do? So sign it. £20,000 in my account. By the time I got back home, £20,000 in the account. It doesn't touch the sides, does it? It doesn't. So now we're in like panic mode. Oh, what the bloody hell do we do? Right. Of course, the guys were subcontracting on this other block of flats. They got wind because I'm quite an open and honest person. I thought, well, I'll be honest with everyone. Tell them how the ground lays, and we'll work it through everyone. They paid lip service. Oh yeah, we'll help you out. Don't worry. We'll pay you every 2 weeks rather than 4 now, Mark. We'll get you back on track. And didn't just help back on me. What they do is they sign off valuations, give me a payment certificate for X amount. You think, great, I can cash flow myself out of this problem. Let people know, look, we're not paying you this week. We're going to pay you next week. I'm paying you for this job. Just dead open with people. Of course, get the payment certs. Payments never come. And then I meet them on site, and they do the usual on a Saturday. Call me a Saturday morning now. Well, look at the scaffolding. The scaffolding's not quite safe, so we're not paying you that now. And it's just that setup yet again. But what choice have you got? You either put yourself through it and getting belittled on everything to trying to get some money out, and they just close rank and left me high and dry. And they know quite well that there's arbitration clauses and it's going to cost me so much money to go for it. So I ended up folding, losing everything. Lost my house, lost a lot. Everything goes. So part of the insolvency there, looking at it going, Mark, legitimately owed this money. Yeah. You are. My solicitor was sitting there going, you owed it. We've got payment certs for it. We can do our own valuation that works. I was like, yeah, do it. Because we were quite honest with our valuation. We were never over-egging it because all you do is end up pushing a problem down the line, So I always tell people now, no matter what, don't over-egg your valuations. Keep it tight. Reasonable, but don't over-egg it because you just push that problem further down the line. But anyway, long story short, it's like, mate, we'll go there, we'll go to arbitration, we'll go to court, you'll spend an undisclosed amount because we don't quite know where it's going to go. But at this point, they've raised counterclaims. They owe me £200,000, there'll be a counterclaim for £350. It's nonsense, nonsensical. But when you go to arbitration, you've got to then unravel it all. It's just money. And they said, you could go there, you could spend a couple of £100,000 with us, £100,000, whatever. You could win, we could go to court, and they'll go, we can't afford to pay him, we want a payment plan. Or equally, they'll just go, well, we'll wrap ourselves up, we'll close and open up tomorrow another name, limited liability.
How long was this going on for?
I spent the best part of a year battling that. But in the meantime, I had a little bit of a breakdown, got a bit depressed and the usual stuff that goes with it, losing your house and your business and things.
I don't realise the effect they're having on people.
Not at all. Totally soulless, totally don't give a monkeys about anyone. So, but, then in the meantime, I've sort of worked freelance for someone. My business closed on a Friday. On a Monday, I'm working for someone else. Just not in a great headspace. But what you got to do, you've got bills to pay. Yeah. And that's the route you've got to go to. Work with them for a bit, and then eventually you sort of recover, find yourself again. And then off I went. And one thing I did learn, actually, by working for someone else is doing trade shows, which I never thought about doing. How to build it live and things like that. Yeah. Never thought about doing it. I don't think many people enters their heads. And we were one of the first builders to beat, well, not the first, but especially in our area. And that really led me to a lot of work, so I could go on my own. Doing the build it shows and this, that and the other, which weren't the best thing to do, especially when you're feeling a bit down in the dumps, trying to go and meet people and talk the talk. Yeah.
That process must have been hard, like you're obviously losing your house and stuff like that. Yeah. So you had to just move, did you?
No, just sitting charges on the house. Yeah. So they weren't kicking you out, but anything you had in your house, you're paying them a monthly fee, and you can't sell the house because if you sold the house, they'll take any equity out of it. If you miss a payment, they'll repossess. So what are you going to do? You're just stuck now, stagnant somewhere. What can you do? That is your life then, isn't it? You're bound to them. Of course, that comes with its own sort of side effects, whereas, you're just prisoner in your own home, really. You are, and as you sit there with it. and it's a hard lesson learned, you know.
So then obviously, you had no choice but to close it down.
Close it down, close it down and go again, and that was it. It was just a horrible period of time, really, for us, you know. We paid up.
You got kids?
Yeah, a lot. It was all hinging. And when you're flying, and when all of a sudden the business is gone from down here, and you're going, bloody hell, we're getting somewhere. We're making some head ground now. We've got sort of government contracts that it's it's backed by the government. You think, oh, bloody hell, we've got a bit of stability here now. Then worries you have of finding work are pretty gone, because it's not lead tender. But once you're in the realms of repeat work with them, you're there. You're on the books, you know. And out of the free contractors, you might lose every third job, but you know there can be work coming through the door. That's all gone. And then you're back down to square one with debt, no house. Yeah. But
so because obviously then when did you get the MS? When did that come
was all brought
about?
on by that stress there.
Was that long?
Did they confirm that?
So it's all sitting in you. So MS basically, you got imagine like electrical wiring in your body. It's covered in a sheet called myelin, if I believe it's called, right? And basically, your own white cell blood cells eat it. The sheathing around your nerves, so they short out.
Right,
and that's what basically it is in a nutshell. But it's there, it's within you. But you know,
something to trigger it.
And you could be having MS. You could be living there. I mean, I had a little flare up when you look back years previous where my leg would go wobbly. It didn't hurt. You just lost coordination. Your foot would drop a bit, and you'd be a bit lopsided. That's odd. And it lasted a period. I had my ACLs rebuilt, and I put it down to played a bit of rugby, done a bit, just a bit of hard graft on my knees. They said, it must be an ACL damage, so we'll get that repaired. Put it down to that. But lo and behold, after all this, and whilst you're going through that period of stress, you're all right. Your head's not, but your body's all right.
Yeah.
And as soon as it sort of stops and you decant a little, and you can see, the wood for the trees, you can see, this is what I'm going to do now. Okay, the worst happened. And that stress immediately stopped. That's when it kicked me like a ton of bricks. And I remember I was at the park with my son, and he still talks about it now. Like, we're playing rugby, and your leg went wobbly. And it was like that. Just bang, leg just went wobbly. I mean, it's really odd. My leg sort of flapped around. I think you've seen it, haven't you? Once or twice. And and that was the onset from it. And then that moment of high stress, as soon as you decant a little, hit me like a ton of bricks. Like you wouldn't believe. Lost the ability to speak properly.
Yeah, because you're stuttering bad,
stuttering really bad. Yeah, really bad. Fatigue, like like you've had a booze and you come home and you can't keep your eyes open.
Yeah.
It's that sort of fatigue hits you. Can't talk, can't think. Short-term memory's still gone. It's a bit of a laughing joke now in my office that, don't tell Mark anything, because it just goes. My short-term memory is completely packed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, Blakey did say he's going to message you to remind you about today.
He did. Yeah, he did. He did. And that's it. And I have to put everything in my diary now on my phone. So the night before it beeps up. But even then, I'll be like, it's gone. It'll beep at 5 o'clock the night before, meetings. All right, go to sleep, wake up. What am I doing today?
I'm Pete, this is Kieran.
Where am I? Only come to get a cup of coffee. But no, that really knocked me for 6. And then I end up using walking sticks. Some days 2, some days 1. Yeah, it's ain't the greatest.
So then, what with work? Then was you office based?
Yeah, but at that point in time, I was predominantly office based. I go and do site visits.
Yeah.
To see what's going on. But lucky enough, just through what happened, I've pushed myself into more of an admin role, really, pricing, bit of technical, bit of this bit. But I was more office based, which was fortunate, because if I wasn't, I don't know what I'd do.
Yeah.
Really, really don't know what. If I was on a tool still, odd carrying still, I couldn't. Even now, I can't do. I'm going to the gym still, but if I do anything really strenuous for a prolonged period of time, I wipe myself out. It's like you've got they call it ticks in a day, or everyone, battery cells. So you've got to manage yourself, and when you get completely depleted, most people recover after a day or so. It will take me probably a week, 2 weeks if I have something really bad happen.
Oh shit!
Yeah, and it's odd. And touch wood, I've not had a flare up for a while.
What helps recover, to stop them flare ups? Obviously, if you're having a walking stick stuttering, what do you have to do to control that?
Really, rest is the only thing. Rest and no stress. But when are you going to get that? You don't. So I tend to battle through it. I just tend to. Don't get me wrong. There's times where I've pulled myself into my car, driven, and then fallen out the other side and pulled myself into the office, because I've got that mentality where I've got to be at work. I've got to work. I've got to drive. I've got to do this. it's not the best. You shouldn't do it. But you've got that. If you're trying to get somewhere, you've got that drive. I think that's helped a little bit. You get some people who get a diagnosis and then that's it. They sort of close themselves off and
get
live
worse.
in that
Probably,
bubble.
yeah.
They do. They don't do. There's nothing against everyone's different, But for me, no, it's always been a case of I'll go to the gym. Even people in my current gym go, "I remember you coming with your sticks." I'm like, but now look at you. Yeah. And it's, don't be wrong, I have a flare up every so often. It hits you like a ton of bricks and it will come from nowhere. And I know I'm getting it because my neck gets really stiff, my head's pounding, I start to stammer and stutter, forget what I'm saying mid-sentence, which for me, I'm a bit of a talker anyway. And people can notice that.
How long's that been then?
That's been since, this is now year 6. Yeah, year 6 of it really. 6 years. Yeah, it's just, it's odd. But, equally, people remember me for having MS. If I go to the trade shows or meet clients and I've got my walking stick, they'll be like, "Oh, the guy with the leather shirt and a walking stick." I'll be like, "Yeah, that's me." I'm quite open with it. I'll tell them I've got MS. If it flares up, you'll see me walking stick. Don't get stressed.
What does that like bode for the future then? As in, like, your health, does it deteriorate or?
Yeah, it's a degenerative disease.
Yeah,
everyone's different with it.
Because I don't know a lot about MS.
It will get. What you do, you'll get peaks and troughs. So you go really down, then you'll bounce back up, down, you bounce back up. Eventually, your bounce back ups won't be quite as significant.
Right.
So you'll plateau gradually. So whereas I'll be stuttering and stammering and walking with a stick, then I'll be back to normal. But there'll be a point where I'll always have to use a stick to walk. It could be a case. No one quite knows that when that kicks in. Everyone's body's different.
Yeah.
I think a little healthy lifestyle, stress is just
try and be as stress free as you possibly can.
Yeah,
stress free eating, it all makes a difference.
It does, a massive difference. Yeah, and I do think physical activity, no matter how little you do, helps.
Well, when you got the diagnosis, how was you with? I mean, because we talk about stress, and stress isn't good for you, but that ain't going to be good. Being told you've got something like that.
No.
Like, same with I got a slight heart condition. I was diagnosed with when I was 30. Yeah. Which knocked me for 6 because every time I got a little, I was thinking, "Oh fucking hell, I'm going to die." Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But like, and then that's a stress in itself. So like, how was that when you got diagnosed? Was you down? Was you?
Yeah, it was. Do you know what? To a point, you see me relieved because you start reading up online. It's the worst thing to do. You're looking at Parkinson's, and all these other stuff.
Yeah.
That's pretty quick acting, but it's not. It's MS. Fine, I can manage that. To a point, you're relieved because you know what it is, and I've got to manage now. I know how to manage it to a degree, and I do. But but again, it's probably driven me a little bit more. So I've got to do this. I've got to get it to work because at some point I'm not going to be well enough to work. Not that I'm going to be sitting back, bringing off top, but I need an income. I need to provide for the family still. Yeah. So if I can make the business work and keep pushing that business forward to a point where I haven't got PSO involved, I can employ someone to do the day to day, and I can have a sensible living off the back
preparing,
of it. Yeah, that's sort of your retirement. Your exit really is that.
How old are your kids?
I've got one that's 5 and one that's 9.
Yeah.
So you've got that exit strategy always there. Plus, I think it helps if you enjoy what you do. I do think if I was working for someone else and you get up every day and you think, "Oh, fucking hell, I hate my job." Your mentality is going to be different, isn't it? You're going to be a bit like...
I work for myself and I think that anyway.
But you've got that freedom, haven't you? You've got that freedom to go...
Yeah.
Not much freedom, but there's a degree of freedom we get.
You haven't got it's not like you're pinned down to anyone. You haven't, like you say, you ain't got to answer to anyone, and their stresses are not your stresses.
The foundation's there. Otherwise, if you ain't got that, it causes distress, doesn't it? And you feel like you can't get away from it because you're always needed. And
exactly that. I'm like it now. I know I'm probably the worst boss to work for myself because I won't take a day off. I won't go on holiday. From holiday, I'm working. You've got that, and I get told off for it all the time because I'm constantly working, constantly doing something.
So you're going to keep your mind active, aren't you? But so do you have to go for like regular checks and that now for like MS? Like I say, I don't know much about it.
So because I hit it right when COVID was really there. So my neurological scans were getting done by COVID, so we're getting pushed back, and then cancelled. And neurology.
Did anyone try and blame it on COVID?
Everything's blamed on COVID. Neurology has got a massive backlog anyway.
Yeah.
It's one of the most underfunded departments, I believe. But Oh yeah, because of COVID, that's just another. And the NHS on the huge drain, so resources have gone elsewhere. We had one set of one hospital lost all my MRI results. So we had MRI, and then do MRI of a contrast where it picks up little lesions and things. Now I've got two in my spine, one somewhere in my head, but they lost that. So then you have to go through it again. So although Kings would write to this local hospital and say, "Have you got the scans?" After sort of 6 months later, I go back for another checkup. No, I'll write to them again. 6 months later, right, we'll do it ourselves. But that could be an 18-month period.
Yeah.
If we get rescanned.
A lot can change in that
Absolutely.
time.
And if in the meantime, if you have a flare-up, come and see us. But you can't just go and see a neurologist. Do you know what I mean? You're having a flare-up. Well, we'll book you in for 6 months' time. Right? But I know I'll be bounced back by then.
Yeah.
So you can't catch me at the right or wrong time. I tried to go privately. See a neurologist, again, Chelmsford Way, privately, because when pain gets a lot, it starts gnawing away at you. And you pay him, whatever, for a private consultation. But then he's like, well, look, Mark, to be fair, we have to go for the MRIs. And before you know, you spend 10 grand with me getting scanned again.
Jesus.
I think, I'm not doing that.
No.
That's the thing as well. Like you can get obviously private healthcare insurance, but they won't let you do it if you've already got an issue.
No, that's exactly it. And of course, never had private healthcare with me. Always either fit as a fiddle or not. That's where it was. Because it's a neurological condition and it's a central nervous system condition, pretty much any illness can be related back to the central nervous system. So try and get yourself insured on anything. I think, they're going to insure me for a twisted ankle and that's about it. Because anything else can be related back to it. And insurance companies are renowned for trying to work them out of things, don't they?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that's it. You see the neurologist now, and if you're in pain, up this. We were talking earlier, they just want to up your meds. There is no hard and fast cure for it. I'm an advocate for the CBD oils and things like that. I think it works. The US are so far ahead in terms of that treatment than the UK. You go on some of these forums in the US about MS and any other neurological condition, even certain ADHDs, etc. They're so far ahead in the treatment of it by using cannabis-based products.
Yeah.
Because they work. But there's no money to be made, is there? It's not easily taxable in the UK, so...
Yeah.
So you still on the medication for it, you say, or not?
No, I've weaned myself off.
Yeah.
Oh, I say weaned myself, I went cold turkey and felt like crap for about a month. But I found, for me personally, they were doing a lot more... The adverse side effects were outweighing the pros. Now, I was still in pain, granted. My legs were still weak. So MS is weird. I get a weakness in my legs, but equally my shoulders and my neck will get really tight. So you had a relaxant that releases some of the tension, saves the headaches, but it doesn't just work in one area. It relaxes your whole body, certain areas. So you become untense in one. The areas where you need a bit of strength, because say your legs have got weak or your foot's dropping, it doesn't work. It cures one, but makes the other worse.
Yeah.
So you sort of sat there, and I was putting a lot of weight on with them, an awful lot of weight. Well, it didn't increase my appetite or anything. It was just retaining water weight or whatever. And so I came off of them completely, and now just eat paracetamol, something Smarties. And
is there a massive difference then? So it's mainly just for the pain and that?
Pain. So gabapentin is a neurological painkiller, kills pain that stems from the brain. So the pain, if you hurt yourself, your pain's, your finger will hurt, but the sensation of pain is generated by your brain. So pain's not situated there; it's in your head, and it's telling you it's there. Yeah. So certain medications will numb that in the brain. So you're in pain, it will numb it. So it's one another muscle relaxant.
You don't think of it as that, do you?
No, you don't a lot. You think it's odd. Yeah. It's really, really strange.
But that takes you got to brain train to stop pain, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
And it's odd. It's really odd. I mean, when my foot was dropping and my leg was dropping, I went to a physio called Heads Up, based in Sevenoaks. She was really good, doing silly things like rolling a tennis ball under your hand, under your heel of your foot, and teaching you how to walk. And she said, it's just you've got your pathways how your body will work. So if you want to walk, your brain's telling your leg to engage this nerve and this muscle to get it to walk. But you can retrain them pathways to a degree. So if your foot's dropping and doing these little exercises engages a different pathway to get your foot to work. Yeah. So I kept up with her, and it's done really well. So I came out exhausted. You go to the gym and you do squats and everything else. But this is completely, you're rolling a tennis ball around your foot, but you come out exhausted because you're trying to teach your body new ways to stimulate the same muscle.
It's like, I don't want to compare you to a dog, but it's when you're training a dog. Yeah. Like if you're training a dog on conditioning and recall and stuff like that, although they're not like, but if you're telling them to like go down and you're stimulating their brain, they end up just coming in and going,
gone.
You know what I mean?
It's exactly that. Exactly that. Yeah, so it's interesting, but it's sad, but it's just one of them things, isn't it? But it's amazing how the human body works. You know,
Yeah,
it just is.
it's just like, but like you say, and as well, how you can pinpoint it to that time of your life which has actually brought this out in you as well, isn't it? And it's incredible what stress does.
Oh, massive
to the body, and how much what it can do to you, isn't it?
And it always goes back to these people. They don't realise the damage they're doing.
Don't care.
Not paying and stuff like that. The effect it's having on mental health and
absolutely
all comes down to that.
And again, our industry is the worst for mental health.
Yeah, we've discussed that today. It was a case. How many was it? 635 people last year. Men in this industry committed suicide.
Yeah. No one to talk to. They carry all these pressures. Men are the worst anyway, aren't they? You know, just for bottom up feelings, we don't talk about it. And I think we are still the generation that don't talk about it.
Yeah,
we are. You know, when you carry all this weight on your shoulders, who are you going to vent to? No one. And it's got to go somewhere.
You know? I vent to Instagram.
I'm perfect on Instagram. But no, that's the thing. You've got no one to vent to. It's got to come out somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, and I think if you've got any condition like that, your heart, for example, you could be so stressed, cold like a ball, and it won't be that point of stress. It'll be no doubt the point where it eases off.
Yeah.
And your body then goes, relaxes, and then all of a sudden,
and you open yourself up to it.
Yeah. I think it's that fight or flight. Once you're out of the fight,
that's it. You're.
But yeah,
easy pickings.
But that being said, it's just it's the way of the world really for me. It's quite the norm.
I suppose you've got to learn a way to cope with it, and
you do, and to a degree, I think really losing your house, having all that nonsense, getting MS, you do develop a bit of a not cavalier attitude. Whereas, you know, I look to buy
strengthens you in a way.
It does, and you think, what's the worst that can happen?
Immunity.
You do. If there's nothing bad's happened to you, you're living that bubble of you want to protect that. If you've been there, done it, and you've got nothing to lose, what's the point? So it's enabled me to go, do you know what? We look to buy that site. We're going to try and develop that site, and I'm going to take a punt on it, get finance. Because what's the worst that can happen? You know, you've got that. It pretty shapes you. You know, in 10 years' time, you know, I could be looking back going, it's probably the best thing that's happened to me. All that hardship, you've become a bit immune to it, or you're used to it, and that people get worried because they don't know what's going to happen. I won't take that risk because I don't know what's going to happen. And I like being in a safe area. Yeah. And that's why people operate in that little box of safety. If you've been outside that box before and you've lived to tell the tale, you haven't lived what you're worried about anyway. You know, it's that. And you think you're either stupid or brave, and I err on the side of stupid. But I just think, well, I've been there, I've done it.
What's the worst that's
going to happen?
Yeah.
You know? I can't get pregnant, can I? So, so it's that. So I do think they shape your future is shaped by sort of some of the instances you've been through.
Oh, definitely.
You know,
definitely.
10 years ago, would I be taking risks like I do now in sort of buying sites that got no planning permission and No, do it now because what's the worst that's going to happen?
Yeah.
You know, so it has given you for a negative, you've got a positive out of it. Yeah. You've got a sense of freedom where you think, what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah, definitely.
You know? So yeah, makes it fun.
Definitely, yeah. Well, I think it's been a good conversation.
Yes.
Thanks for having me on there.
Free flowing. Welcome. Thanks for coming.
I've never done anything like this before.
Yeah.
I haven't.
How was you feeling coming?
Nervous. I've done a couple of talks before, but only like promotional videos for the nursery school we built. The council were involved, and I had to talk to camera, and it's a bit like, all right, talking to kids about getting the construction. I'm happy with that because I'm not getting filmed. It's just me talking.
Yeah.
I can't look back on it. And this morning I woke up, I thought, fuck, I got that today.
But is it easier than you thought?
It was, it was. It's really enjoyable, actually.
It's the way I make people feel. It's just
very at home, thank you.
I have this aura about me, don't I, Robbie? Like, Robbie was a mess when he first came in. Now he's just like super cool. I made him feel at ease. I nick his crackers. And
the world is
he's
right.
Cushy.
Yeah, but thank you for coming on.
Thanks you very much.
Cheers,
really appreciate
it. We'll see you on the Monday overtime show. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, this has been another episode of Off the Job podcast.
Thanks for watching the show on YouTube or listening on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcast and all other streaming platforms.
If it's your first time watching or not, make sure to subscribe below and follow us on all the big social media stuff like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok.
For our overtime show on Monday, send us in your stories and comments for it to be read out on the show. Send it in via email, direct message through our social media accounts, or WhatsApp us on 07457 406 259.
And we'll see you on the next episode.